3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
You think he's ready? Did he freeze?
Did you freeze? No, I think he's just.
That's just the look.
Okay.
I thought I was supposed to be quiet during.
Be quiet and not move too.
You kind of look like our dog Violet when she is trying to figure out if she's supposed to bark at the guy coming up the driveway or if it's one of us.
That's how I felt when you started pointing. I was like, "Am I supposed to say 3, 2, 1, or is that like a production thing where you don't say 3, 2, 1?" Like, I don't know.
Well, welcome to Grounds After
Rounds.
Rounds.
You so much.
Yeah, this is Coach Smerrick and Coach
Schmack.
Yak.
Yeah, Coach Yak.
They're Spanish.
It's funny when I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
When Steve and I used to work at Truxton Park, a bunch of the other guards had trouble telling us apart, and so they just called us Steric. And so when they wanted one of the twins, they're like Steric, and the first one to come is the one.
There you go. That's kind of like we call Allie and Rob Snowmans. Because you're not really sure like who should be first. So like Rob gets the sn, but it's mainly a Coleman. So it's
I'd have a name for you and Rachel, but I only like to call Rachel.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So hey man, how are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you guys?
For our listening audience, if you don't recognize that sultry, smooth voice on your penetrating your eardrums, that is the sound. That's right. Yeah, don't ever stick it in the ear.
That was awful.
That is the sound of the one, the only Andrew. Yes, I'm wearing pants, Duncan.
Just short.
Oh, speaking of Duncan, Zoo Coffee is being replaced by a Duncan.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
No, it's not. Zoo Coffee was horrible.
I mean, it wasn't good, but like it was cool to have like a local spot. Like
Starbucks was Starbucks here by the time you left?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Starbucks.
I was rooting for him.
That drive-through line, and this was like even pre-COVID. Like that drive-through line was long at like 2:00 in the afternoon. Like I mean, Starbucks became. You know, Dunkin' is actually they're no longer Dunkin' Donuts. It's just Dunkin'.
It's just Dunkin', yeah, because they're trying to
really
recently.
Yeah, they're trying to pull away from the donut thing and be more of like they're trying to compete with Starbucks and be like more of a coffee shop, but also have donut sandwiches.
I mean, I know they do all that because their sandwiches are absolutely glorious.
I cannot tell you the last time I went to Dunkin' for donuts, because when you have like whether it's Carlson's or even like the Amish market, like there's so many Dunkin' Donuts are just.
I don't know though. I mean, a Dunkin' Donut is still like, it's kind of like the McDonald's cheeseburger meal of hamburger cheeseburger.
Cheap and convenient.
Well, sort of, but like there's just something to it. I mean, it tastes like plastic, but there's just something glorious to that plastic.
There's something nostalgic for me, like going inside a Dunkin' Donuts, like and just like seeing all the donut choices.
It feels kind of Willy Wonka-ish.
Time to make the donuts.
Yeah.
The good old throwback.
So, and I will say, I still think they have one of the best drip coffees when you get it at the store, because it's so.
People are big Dunkin' Donut coffee fans.
Yeah, I did not start drinking coffee. So going back to again when I used to work at the indoor pool. The early 5:15 a.m. shift, the guy who worked front desk used to bring in Dunkin' Donuts coffee for the entire staff, and I never drank coffee. And then eventually I got to the point where I was like, well, if he's going to bring it, I'm going to try it. And Dunkin' Donuts drip coffee, I was like, oh, well, this is nice.
Speaking of coffee, we forgot to hit record for our paid customers and the added material. Right. Do you show them your poodle thing? What's it called?
My toddy.
Your toddy. TODDY. Yeah. I left it on my phone because I'll forget it. So
called a toddy.
Give me them toddies.
And this is what the outcome is.
It goes into there.
But it starts.
If you hold it closer to the camera, it's bigger. It looks bigger. My sons taught me that with fishing. They would take, exactly. And then it all made sense to me. From the websites I go to. Oh, that's why they go with that.
Rachel told me the same thing.
All right. So it goes in this. So the coffee, look, I don't know if you're allowed to have, titles in your podcast,
Yes,
but Black Rifle,
it's better known, so we're okay.
There we go.
Black Rifle coffee, it's blurred anyways. And then the whole bag, I put into a grinder. This is my coffee station. All this is coffee related.
Yeah.
Put it in my grinder, grind it up, weigh it, put in the right amount into here with the right amount of water. Then this is the cover for it. Put this on top, and there's like a little plug under there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It steeps in this thing for 12 to 24 hours. I usually do 24 hours. Then it slow drips onto this guy, the toddy,
Yeah.
and it's glorious.
That I do not need another thing, but I'm really tempted to get that.
It's awesome. It really is awesome. And it's like I save so much money because I really think it's just as good as like going to get a cold brew from Starbucks.
I have a cold brewer. Like I have one where it's like a cylinder in the center and you stick the coffee in there and then sit that and it steeps in the coffee and it makes really good one. I don't know. For some reason, I never do it.
Is it like this?
More or less. It's a little bit differently shaped. Mine looks, yes, basically the same concept. Mine looks more like a beaker, like a science laboratory beaker.
Yeah. That thing is the most annoying thing on the planet because you have to like slowly put in the coffee and the water.
Yes.
For like 10, you're sitting over it for 10 minutes.
It
makes good coffee, but it's a pain in the ass.
Right. And so it's like, I have the time if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Right.
But like what you just described, I would do that every Sunday, like noontime or Sunday morning, put it in the fridge and then have coffee the rest of the week and then do it again on Sunday. Have coffee the rest, like,
yeah. But this thing, the toddy is like, if you really get your ratios right, you could have coffee for a week, if not 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right. I think I may have to pull the trigger. You did it, Duncan.
Yeah, man. It's super awesome.
You're the one who got me on Stitch Fix. I did that for like a year, and now I have all new pants and clothes and shoes and shirts, and I needed to get new clothes to go with my hair.
Right. I'm sad I haven't seen any of those clothing.
I do have tight kits. I got a pair of really tight shorts. I have a couple pairs of tight shorts, and I was wearing them.
Yes, he does.
When they first came in, and Nicole looks at him and she goes, Did Andrew Duncan buy you those shorts?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
And it actually, I felt validated. Like I felt like, all right, this is the right pair of shorts because the fact that me and fashion were equated to you meant I was moving in the right direction away from baggy cargo shorts and button down shirts.
Well, good. I'm glad that I could.
And Tevas with socks.
Yeah, that's sad.
I just made you vomit a little bit, didn't I?
A little bit. No, like with, working from home for the last 20 plus months, I think my fashion is consists of these tack hunt fish shorts that I was telling you about. So these and they're I mean, you could swim, squat, do whatever you could imagine in these shorts. Like they're the best shorts I've ever owned. I own too many pairs. I wear that, some graphic t-shirt and a hat. And that's all I wear these days.
You don't have to go into the office yet?
I don't go into the office. I have never been in the office with this. I got this job I have now during like the pandemic, COVID, whatever we call it now. So I've never even like physically met any of my coworkers or managers or anything. Now, I did get a side gig because I was felt so stuck in the house. And then the boys were here doing virtual school all year last year. Rachel and I both worked from home. And so I was like, I'm going to get out of the house. And there's this place called Tacova. So you have to look it up. It's phenomenal. And it's a cowboy boot store. And we're going to have to get into that part of my life now, eventually, if we have time. And it is super it's like where like city trendy meets like Western cowboy. And so we sell cowboy boots for men and women, and then like some apparel for men and some other really fun stuff. But it's a blast, and it's up in like the real trendy part of Charlotte. And we serve booze. It's free. Like
While they're
come
shopping
in.
for boots, they get to booze.
Yeah. So you come in if you want a beer. We got local beers and
Is that
water.
a thing in North Carolina where places just like, I mean, because they can't like, excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. We'll come back to that.
So that's a Tecovas thing. Anywhere it's legal or it's like, within the alcohol laws, whatever state Tecovas is in, they serve alcohol. We don't make commission. I love that because I would be terrible at like trying to like sell for money. I sell
The
because
pressure
like
of commission.
yeah, I like the
Like,
product.
you're a natural,
and
but I feel like the pressure of commission is like
I'd fail miserably.
Yeah.
I love the product enough to just chat about it.
Yeah.
And I get to meet so many cool, like different walks of life. I mean, everybody from every type of like community walk of life comes in and buys our boots, and it's a blast.
That's
and
awesome.
I go every other weekend. So I get to interact with human beings for a couple of days. That's all I need, because after that, I don't
any
want
more
to
than
do
that
anymore. So
I'll tell you, I have a buddy, a friend, Navy friend. He's a retired senior chief. I don't think he made E9. And he was in the band. He was a Navy band.
Oh, cool.
Trumpet, I think, or no, jazz sax, maybe. God, I can't. Nate. So he and his wife, he's retired, and they live just outside Newport. And so longest time, he's getting ready to retire. They're like, what are you gonna do, Nate? What are you looking at? And then blah blah blah. And he's like, I'm gonna go work at REI. I think yeah. And so he did, and he started kind of in the front shop, but they have a bike shop attached. A lot of REIs do, and that's actually like, if you can get in on the bike shop side of REI, that's like the inner circle. It's like the damn dev group of REI. And so he did. And so he's like had to take some training, and now he works. He's got like 6 or 7 hours in the bike shop each day. And then he has to do like another 2 or 3 out in retail. But yeah, like and people are like, so, they haven't seen him in a while. Like, what are you doing? What are you up to? He's like, I work at a bike shop at REI. And they're like, really? You were, a senior chief in the Navy, like, we almost made command. And he's like, yeah, it's great. Like, happiest I've ever seen him. Like, awesome. Just look like he was 15 years younger. It was awesome to see. Yeah, so I think you found the niche, man. Take that, one Sunday every 2 weeks and parlay that into be a boot man.
Right. It's fun, and it is like, it's something different, and I need that because I just like, I suck at doing the same thing over and over again. I get jaded. So it's fun. It's cool.
Good. That's awesome.
I think
this is another company that you guys need to look into. It's called what's it called? Lift Little Debbie Lifting Team.
Oh,
I can't remember.
I like Little Debbie's.
Yeah, so like, look, where they like measure how much is in there. You probably can't see. I really should have put that blur on the camera. Yeah. It says Swiss rolls, Nutty Buddy, honey buns, oatmeal cream pies, but it's like a weightlifting thing.
Yeah,
but it's Little Debbie's. You should probably check it out.
I feel like there's,
anyways.
I've always if I decide to start like a weightlifting club, which I feel like there's a weightlifting cohort here, but there's not like a outside of summer solstice. Like, it would totally, like, there's like deadlifts and donuts. Like, what was it called? Little Debbie.
Right. Oh yeah, Little Debbie Lifting Team.
Yeah, and like there's a bunch of names like that where it's like, it's a silly food, but then it's lifting, and I got
Twinkies and Twerks.
No, and because not like the because it doesn't, well, because the Twinkies, but then there's nothing, like, it's not a weightlifting, like Twinkies and Twerks would be this guy. Yeah. Like, I feel like if you had an OnlyFans page, that would be the
I get all different customers with the twin part.
God, now I want a Twinkie, cold brew coffee, and a Dunkin' Donut. I just got my day. That's my day.
Yeah.
I'm calling in sick.
But yeah, I hope you stick with that job for a while, because I know, like, if when we finally do get to come down and see you again, like, Meg had a pair of cowboy boots a while back, and since she had, because I guess, I don't know, like, when women get pregnant, their feet tend to swell, and her feet have not gone back to where they can fit comfortably in those boots.
Oh man.
And so she had a pair of cowboy boots that she rocked, and so we'll definitely need you to get Megan.
Come down. It's we're your closest store. It started as an online store in like 2014. So the guy that created it was like a Wall Street guy, like just kind of sick of it. So he moved to Austin. I'm not 100% sure if he's from Austin originally, but and started a cowboy boot company. They're handmade, dude. They're dope. It's fun.
I
It's
feel like
really
it's
cool.
like Charlotte too. Like I feel like it's such an eclectic city that like
Yeah, there's so many
hard
different
spot
people
for a
from
place like
everywhere.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like if you put a place like that in Annapolis, it would be kind of niche, but it wouldn't. I don't know. If it would
Right.
last.
Yeah.
So I guess
Sorry.
we have to
Anyways.
ask the what's the word I'm looking for? Required question. Whatever, just to somehow make this a CrossFit-ish.
Yeah. Let's talk about
podcast.
CrossFit.
What you doing? Are you still you going to a box
No.
anywhere? You doing stuff in the garage? Doing some sit-ups
Yeah.
now and then?
So I just didn't ever feel comfortable trying to go through that process of finding another
Finding a
box, like
place.
another
Oh,
gym.
yeah.
Like it's just not in me. Like a big part of Fairwinds to me were the people, the community, like just like the plate, the physical plate, like, you know, all the things that came with Fairwinds. That's what like CrossFit was for me. And I don't want to try and recreate that. It's not for me.
I remember going back
So-
to when you guys did the origins or whatever, and just like your process of just finding a box that you actually, like the ups and downs you had with
It was
It
like
was
an
it was a
emotional
garage. I mean, it was
Yeah.
it
nightmare.
was chairs in front of Mike Marcus's house talking, and then he finally decided, all right, well, I'm just going to go to this guy's house. And so
Mhm.
it was just because we moved into a different space, but it was all still the same people. That's why I actually didn't move the shed until you left, because I didn't want to, you know, like if you move your dog's dog bed and it like freaks out and just starts pooping and stuff. I was afraid you just start
pooping in the
you just
driveway.
start hanging in the
I'd
corner
start
when you come
pooping
in.
the-
Yeah, you
That's
and
true.
you and Zebo.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, so yeah, so there's a place here that I would think would probably be pretty similar to like the type of community Fairwinds has. It's called Lake, because I live just in Lake Wiley, South Carolina, and it's called Lake Wiley CrossFit, and it's definitely like a buddy of mine used to go there, and he was kind of telling me the vibe, and it sounds very similar to what Fairwinds is, but I just don't have any desire to
do it.
to try and get that back. Like,
Yeah.
and maybe that's silly, maybe that's like childish that I'm like holding on to this like previous, you know, group of people in community, but I loved it. I mean, that was CrossFit for me, was more the people and the place and who I was doing it with than like the movements.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll tell you, man, you're not weird. I mean, I don't know. We're cut from a similar cloth, and you know, kind of came through the same similar meat grinder.
Yeah.
If I didn't own this joint, I probably would not go to a CrossFit affiliate. I would probably
Right.
be out in my garage, have maybe 3 or 4 friends that every now and then we do a WOD together somewhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I wasn't coaching, yeah, and again, the only reason, I mean, I did not go to Annapolis much, except when I was coaching. I did not take classes at Old Bay much, except when I was coaching. And when those twilighted, I worked out at the academy in blue and gold with Andy, and that was it. I didn't take classes or take classes. And so, no, I think there's something to it, but you could also say that's the beauty of the methodology and the whole, you know, concept behind it, is that it has the flexibility to fit all of those types of personalities.
Yeah.
And even some of the original Glassman articles say, like, you know, the affiliate should be either close to your home, should be on your way to work, or just your neighborhood garage.
Right.
That's it. Like, it should be that part of your life, not so much like it has to be this, I have to go. But there are some people that have to go to an affiliate or else they won't do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and like, I'm not bashing any affiliate
No,
or
no,
anybody
exactly.
that goes to a gym. Like, just for me, like that piece of me is there in Annapolis, and that's where it's gonna stay. As far as like working out, since we've been down here, there was some time where Eric and I were doing the thing, and that was really good. But then I just fell off. Some things went down that we had to like kind of switch some stuff up. And then I still get out the garage. I have a great setup in the garage. I'll
Yeah.
try and show it to you. So yeah, I've got a rack, I've got weights, I've got rings, I've got all the quintessential things. My wife won't let me buy a rower, so that's kind of messed up.
You should get a C2, get a bike, get a C2 bike. I think they actually may be more expensive, or if you really can get Mitzer to do something, get an Echo bike.
You guys are gonna not love that. It's like you can't see it. Sorry. But anyways, this is the rack, and there's a bench, and then a couple barbells, and Rachel's got
I feel like it's kind of like a
some
science
barbells.
fiction movie.
Sorry, I
I
shouldn't
feel,
have
I
put
feel
the
like we
blur
were in
thing
like a
on.
science fiction movie. It was like ghosty sort of. So like, yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
I
and then
get,
I've got
and that's
like,
you mean you're able to do like 3 to 4 times a week, about a half hour to 40 minutes, get your heart rate up, do some functional movements, throw some weight around, do some push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups, and stay pretty healthy.
yeah, but it ebbs and flows for me, like
He wasn't picking up
like what I'm doing. So like the whole family got really into jujitsu recently. So
that's awesome. I think I saw some video or something of you guys all rolling.
The boys are like just going to town. Like Tuck is really taken to it and loves it and is like pretty good at it for just getting going. I did it a million years ago and getting back into it now, and it's fun. So that's kind of where like we spend 5 days a week at the jiu-jitsu gym.
That's awesome.
It's a good community, like a group of people that, we really enjoy being around. So the boys go Mondays, Wednesdays. Rachel and I would go Tuesday, Thursdays. Rachel likes it. I think it's Rachel does not like to be touched, so it's an interesting sport to get into for her. But shut up, Eric. But so it's been
pick up on how inappropriate that was.
Yeah,
this is them.
And so so that's been like really, really awesome. So that's where like kind of our like focus for fitness is gone in the last like couple months. So any like gym things I do are to like kind of help facilitate that. So I've been running some more, and then I try and get in here as much as I can, because the thing about CrossFit for me is like I use all the things that you guys taught me and everything else I do though. It's really cool because I really truly do use how I lift daily things, or like I know so much shit about physical fitness from just like what I learned from CrossFit. So if there's anything that I'm doing or the boys are doing or something like that has to do with fitness, I have some knowledge. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I have some knowledge on what I need to do to like help them get better, help myself get better, and feel like I think I got what I needed from like going to an affiliate too, to be able to do this like safely on my own. You know what I mean? Not to say by any means that I'm like the shit or like killing it and doing like crazy cool CrossFit stuff, but when it comes to picking things up and putting them down, like I got that figured out. When I like it comes to like warming up, stretching, all these things, I have bands, I know like couch stretch and all these different stretches that I didn't know before I did stuff with you guys. So yeah,
I appreciate that. That's funny. In this series, this is only the second one of kind of checking in with folks that are out and about off the creek. There's a very similar thing that Shannon said about one of the things she appreciated that we did was as early as possible with athletes, we try to teach them autonomy and sort of taking agency of their own fitness. That yes, you're there as the coach to guide and curate and direct and sort of shepherd people along, but in the end it's only an hour and you have 23 more hours the rest of your day, and then you may only come 3 to 4 times a day, or 3 to 4 times, 3 to 4 times a week. What are you doing the rest of that time? And if this isn't bleeding into the rest of your life, then we're not doing our job correctly. So I'm very glad to hear you say that, and it's very heartening. And it's also, people always like playing devil's advocate on that, but aren't you afraid that then people are going to say, well, then why would I keep coming? Then that's the kind of the question of like, I don't know, like you got to figure that. Because in the end, it's less about the fitness and it is more about the experience.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
can't
I think-
replicate that experience not being there.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also agree though, like I try and teach the boys this, like Tucker, where a guy got him a skateboard and we go outside and he learns to push a little bit. And now he literally said, now dad, that I'm like really good at skateboarding. I'm like, oh no, bro. Like there's infinite amounts of things that you still need to learn to do this. And I think it's a similar thing. Like people will continue to learn new things and better themselves by going. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of plateauing myself by maybe not going to an affiliate where somebody could continue to teach me and correct my form, or you know, didn't continue the thing with Eric. You know, he made it too sexual and it got uncomfortable, so I stopped doing it. But
It's a good business tool right there.
Yeah,
It's good marketing.
but
Hey,
I
maybe there's a
think,
population that wants that, right? Like
yeah,
everybody,
absolutely.
niche. We're a niche
Everybody's
market.
different.
I'm looking for him.
Yeah.
No, but I think there's definitely a benefit to going. But I think something I always tell people when we're doing some, you know, if there's weights involved, like say I'm just doing like some bro lifting with some guys or something, like I always bragged about you guys caring most about doing it right and safely over like just getting it done. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
in a timed event or like trying to 1 rep max stuff. Like I've had guys come in, you know, friends that come to the garage and we'll lift or something. And somehow it comes up like just, I'm like maybe not lifting as much as them because I'm trying not to like hurt myself because I learned, hey, you know, it took a lot for me to
it's
learn
much
that.
harder to
But
come back from an injury than leaving 10
Yeah.
pounds on the table.
right.
Yeah, amen.
I think Rachel and I have always talked about that too with people that are like interested in CrossFit or do CrossFit or something. If they're, you know, we've had conversations over the last couple of years with people maybe in passing that are like, oh, I'm interested in CrossFit. Like, can you tell me about it? I'm like, yeah, the number one thing you want to do is find a place where the coaches care about your form and really are paying attention to how you're doing it, because that means they know what they're doing and they care about like you getting better and being safe.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what fair, like even back in the day in the garage where I would come in like super arrogant thinking I was going to be like a games athlete or something, and Jack's like, you're going to pick that 15-pound bar up and that's about all you're going to do.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's funny. And actually, and I appreciate you saying that. You were sort of, for me professionally, at a time where I was transitioning out of, somebody would come and say that, you know, I'd hear that you'd say what you said to me and I'd be like, okay, cool. And like, I'd jump right in and try and like get you there as quickly as possible, versus, hey, if that's going to be a real thing, then we need to put that on a 5-year timeline.
Yeah.
And look like, we need to Cole Sager this of like, great, you may have some innate skills and talent, but you've got 5 years to work towards like what that actually looks like. And along the road, if we're faster than we think we are and you get it in 2 or 3, hey, win-win. But so ever since then, probably had at least a half a dozen folks now sort of that have followed that same pattern. And it has worked every single time of saying, like when they're like, hey, this open, and it's like January. And they're like, this open, I really want to see if I can make it fill in the blank, such and such. It's like, okay, great. So we'll use this open as sort of a benchmark and see where we go. And then, you know, maybe like 2 or 3 opens from now, we can
be there. Yeah.
Will you be 40 at that point? Awesome. You'll age up into the masters. And that alone in itself is like a 10% improvement. Well, it used to be, it's not anymore. I watched when I was watching the games and I saw what the 50-year-olds were doing with that rope climb overhead squat or something, I think with that workout. I went, okay, so 60, maybe like I'll make like the 60 age group one. I'll just try and keep what I have for the next 15 years. And I'll make the 60-year-old masters. I mean, they're insane now, like ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you saying that. And I think hearing the journey you've been on too, that's what CrossFit is supposed to be. Yeah. It's for 99.99999% of us. It's supposed to be exactly what you just described. Something that you use as a movement practice to allow you to go do the things that you want to do. And for you, jujitsu seems to be, you know, filling that hole, but not even hole, but filling that role of a thing. I'm jealous. Like I've tried other stuff. What I've come to realize is CrossFit is the thing that I actually want to do.
Right.
And then the other stuff is I, hike with the dogs. If I want to jump on the bike, like I can do everything else I want to, but I do still really find joy in the not competitive side, but CrossFit as like a sporty type of thing. Yeah. So I want to do something like a jujitsu, but I'm probably more like Rachel. In the second I get into it, I'm gonna be like, I'm out.
Yeah. Rachel's, it's so funny because she's really good at it, and she's always had this like natural strength. So like it's just something that she could definitely excel at if she just got over the hump of like, it's just that thing of meeting new people in a new setting that you know nothing about. But and I mean, it took how long, Rachel, to start coming to CrossFit? At Fairwinds when we were there, like I would have been there.
We didn't meet her.
Year.
We thought she was your Vera.
She wasn't real. She wasn't real for a long time. But yeah, and then the other thing that we've gotten into is riding horses.
Oh, I saw that. That's right. That's awesome.
So Rachel and I went to a rodeo school.
Hey, Andrew, did you become a cowboy? Are you a cowboy?
A wannabe cowboy. We went to a rodeo school in Kentucky, and I rode like bucking broncs, so like bucking horses, and then Rachel rode bulls, and she got stomped by a bull.
Whoa!
And
was she
we're
okay?
actually going. Yeah, this was in April maybe. And then I found this veterans like riding program here that's really cool, and it just kind of gets you in touch with the horses, and like it's just it's like therapeutic. It's super fun. But that's for another conversation. But I will brag on Rachel a little bit. She got wrecked, but then she found out this like all women's bull riding school in Texas. So we're going in October, and she's gonna do that because I don't know.
Why not?
It's crazy. But I think that
cool.
All that stuff. Anything that like any way that we're able to recover or get prepared, like just stemmed from my time at CrossFit and her time, like, in the gym lifting weights. Cause I think about like when I was like gearing up to go to do the Bronx, like any stretches or any like physical fitness stuff I did, I just would revert back to what I knew, which is CrossFit. Like, some people know like curls and bench press. I know like overhead
extremity
lifts. Yeah. So yeah, it's always been, that's where I was getting with that is, that's kind of like my baseline is like using CrossFit stuff to do the new dumb shit we like to do.
And I bet there wasn't a single person on the back of a horse who had boots and pants and the appropriate gear that looked as good as you, brother.
I look pretty good. I had a pretty gnarly mustache too.
Oh, done. Absolutely done.
It was
on Yellowstone.
Yeah, I wish. It was super legit. Like this is called the Sankey Rodeo School, and this Lyle Sankey in like the 70s or 80s won the NFR on all rough stock. So the NFR is National Finals Rodeo. It's like the Super Bowl of rodeos, and the rough stock is like bareback, broncs, the saddle bronc, and bull riding. And he won in all three of those categories. So he started the school a long time ago, and it was Rachel and I were by far the oldest people there. Everybody there is like legit, like quitting school or just leaving high school and like going to be like their dream is to be like rodeo athletes. They were like no joke.
I hope their lives turn out okay.
Yeah, I mean, I watched somebody go right before me, and the horse stopped her ribs and broke her ribs. And then her ribs, what is it? Broken rib into the lung, so punctured her lung.
Pneumothorax. Attention pneumothorax.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
And so they had to send her to like a completely different hospital, and it was like right before I got on the horse.
Oh my god!
So
Same
it's
horse?
like it's a different horse, but it's real. Like, I mean, it's no joke. Like, it's not like a silly like thing that Rachel and I did like to see if we could do it. No, these people are like out there knowing that they're putting their lives on the line. Stuff. We should. I don't know if we have any.
I mean, Tuck's pretty self-sufficient, but
yes, he is. Sage,
No. Sage still has trouble putting on pants and a t-shirt.
He does. He legit does.
But,
Nah, but yeah, the boys are good. Actually, they're awesome. Anyways, we can. Sorry, I got on a tangent.
that was
riding horses.
amazing. Absolutely, man. I'm just I have so many visions of you doing all this cool shit, brother. Like that is really cool.
It's funny, as much as we talk, I keep meaning to ask you about the bull riding and stuff, because I like, you know, because you rarely ever post on Instagram, so I don't really get much of a look into it. But yeah, but as much as I talk to you, I've been meaning to ask you about it, because I'm like, is this a thing you're doing? Like, because it's you know, it's funny. It's one of the, like, you're one of those people, like, taking up bull riding is such a random thing to take up, right?
Yeah.
But with Andrew Duncan, it's like, it's just like of course Andrew Duncan's bull riding.
I think
There's-
Right? Like, it's just like, I think Meg and I are both like, that's such a Duncan thing. Like, it was really cool. It's, you know,
I just attach myself to things, and I've done it my whole life, and people have always given me a hard time about it, like being like flaky or like over passionate about things. But I don't know. I've as an adult, I've learned to just embrace it and love it. Like,
yeah.
I just like, I mean, you guys know, I mean, I dig my feet and like dig my toes or whatever the freaking saying is, like, and I just like go all in with everything. Like anything that's new, I'm super interested in it. But yeah, I mean, it did send us, Rachel and I, both to physical therapy for like a month. But Rachel's leg, I mean, it's just like nerve damage and stuff. And then I got tossed on my last ride, and I landed just right on my ribs, and it just like all my ribs just became like did not, you know, they're supposed to flex. Some of mine just became like rigid.
Yeah.
And I slammed my head on the floor, and I had a pretty gnarly. It was pretty gnarly. I would maybe do it more if it was something that was prevalent around here, and I had the gear, but the gear is expensive. It's not prevalent at all here. Like, there's no rodeos around here. But you know, there's a lot for like women in that sport right now. They're trying to like,
That's
you know,
cool.
get it more women interested in the sport. So that's what's cool, is like that makes more things available for Rachel. And
you know what though, but it sounds dangerous, and you haven't even talked about the cases of rhabdo that you get from
right. Yeah, lots of rhabdo.
So much rhabdo. You're just into all kinds of dangerous things, aren't you?
What's the hat? What do you wear? What's your hat say?
It says "Kill Bad Dudes."
Is that a Josh? Is that a Josh Bridges thing?
No, there is a company that's just called "We Kill Bad Dudes."
Oh,
and it's another veteran owned thing. You know, I'm just out here trying to pretend I'm still in the military. So
what else? What do you got?
I could talk all day. I got a coffee in me. I know you guys have other things to do, and no one wants to hear me talk that well.
No, they do want to hear you talk. That's why
Hey, dude,
you're on here.
I'm sticking with this joke. This is the only joke I got. You know what you get when you cross an elephant with a rhino?
Elephino.
Oh.
Elephino, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's it. That's all. I mean, too many people know it now.
It's good. Do you watch Ted Lasso?
Do I watch Ted Lasso? Of course I watched Ted Lasso.
The way he looked at me, it was like, it's either like that's like a, is this an obvious yes, or I don't know what that
loser.
Is.
Like, yeah, only losers watch that show. Are you up to date?
I love that show.
Are you? Yeah. That last episode was pretty phenomenal. His that progression of him going through. I guess I'm gonna break my own rule. I usually say I give people like a year, 6 months, but I guess with streaming shows. Anyway, I'll just say this: I am so impressed with that show's writing and the ability to take topics and characters that could easily just be surface and stick with just kind of what appeared to be, you know, kind of sophomoric, childish humor things, which like that could be his character.
Yeah,
but they are legitimately dealing with some pretty heavy issues.
Yeah.
And they could easily also go very dark and kind of pessimistic with it.
Yeah.
But instead, they have chosen, you can tell the track, they choose to see the best side of every single character, even the ex-husband in that first season, who was just what's her face, the owner,
the soccer, yeah,
he could have been an absolute dickhead, and he kind of was.
He was,
Still saw they took the opportunity to show a human side of him, and sort of that he was still sort of struggling, kind of like alone.
Did I miss that?
When they that he's in the house watching the game by himself,
when they were
and the
relegated.
new wife kind of is like just, and you see his face just kind of like alone.
This is his,
and it was sort of like they always choose to show the human side of people, and that there is more depth to it, and they make it funny. So they find a way to get all of that. I mean, they thread a needle that is impossible to thread, and they do it successfully every damn week.
It's definitely one of the best television shows I've ever seen.
I'll say
when it comes to that, for sure.
I don't love Rebecca in season 2, the owner, that she was like, I mean, she was struggling in season 1, and then you saw her really kind of like evolve into this much more like confident, like with the help of Ted, and like she's strong and powerful. I mean, she's the owner of a Premier League soccer team. And so much of this season is like her giddy on her phone, like on a date. And I was just like, and she had her moments, like when she taught Nathan to like, like she has
and I love Keely's response. What did she call her? You're spectacular. She was like, something.
She makes that show. That Keely, obviously Ted Lasso is the shit, but Keely
might be
like is phenomenal. And
totally
then
agree.
Roy is like my hero. He's my hero.
But even the last couple episodes, the Keely Roy thing, like I agree. I think Keely is like, again, that character could be so surface and
just a ditzy girl, and
but they're not like she's rebranded the team. They got rid of, they kind of just quietly, except for the episode where they not quietly boycott the
which was awesome,
but then they rebranded it, and it's her company on them, like that, whatever that is. Like that's
it's a great show.
I would say with Rebecca, I don't like how it became like she was just giddy, like dating, finding boyfriends, blah blah blah. And again, I'm not spoiling anything, but now seeing where it's going, it's like okay, all right, like patience with the show, right? Like it's I kind of was like first season, like I was like, I hope that happens, and Rachel's like, no, that's going to be weird, but we'll see.
Well, and I think it's their jump the shark moment. They could. I hope they don't. I hope they hold off. As we've all seen, we can go back to the quintessential sort of gold standard of relationships within shows, the Ross and Rachel.
Right.
Can have key characters get together.
And you just got to do it at the right time.
Exactly. If you do it correctly and kind of, let that to create, but again, Ted Lasso is doing well, is it's also building up all of the other characters.
I love that. I love
some of them get together. It won't undermine some of those other things. So, trust it, man. Patience.
I hope it lasts. I hope they're able to continue the show and keep writing and keep finding something to write about.
Plug another show on Starz, Heels, starring Stephen Amell, who is known as Green Arrow on the WB series Green Arrow. No, what is it?
Oh, is this the wrestling thing?
Yeah. It's no
one cares, Eric.
No, they should care, because here's why. So it's a great, it's a drama. Okay, it's a great drama. And the setting is like this podunk town down in Georgia, where this brother took over his father's wrestling promotion after he committed suicide. And so it's the struggles of like their father just committed suicide a year ago. They're all like, the mom's angry because she's super religious. She's like, he's burning in hell, but she's obviously still struggling with like her husband. And then it's Stephen Amell who like runs the promotion, but his brother, his baby brother is like the star of the promotion. And it's this whole, and
No, I've seen now. I will defend. I'll
Take
defend you a little bit. I've seen multiple previews for it, and it does look like there is some depth to
But
that
it's like,
show.
yeah, the character. I think the casting's good. The characters are good. The development's good. Like
first season.
Yeah, they're only 4 episodes in, and so like pro wrestling is the setting, and
Right.
again, it's this
That's
little
just
town.
yeah,
It's
that's
this
just
little
it.
town where like, I mean, it's cool too because like if I lived in a little podunk like poor ass town where it was, I mean, Saturday nights like it's like
Yeah,
football
yeah.
in Texas.
Yeah.
I grew
Everyone
up-
comes to this
yeah.
wrestling show. Yeah.
Shelly just perked up. You said Texas.
Yeah.
I grew up in a
but
place like that.
So yeah, wrestling and but all these, I mean, there's, it's all these things.
They
So
play
it's cool.
football in Texas?
No, only soccer actually. Yeah.
You got a little head poke around the corner. Speaking of, I tried to watch All American on Netflix. This is it's like
that
sort of
football
like-
show.
It's sort of like the Friday Night Lights of this
Yeah,
generation.
it's just a lot of drama.
The only saving grace, in my opinion, of the show, which was Ty Diggs. I made it like 1 or 2 episodes in.
Tay Diggs.
Tay Diggs, yeah.
That's a beautiful man.
Right? Is
Tay
it?
Diggs.
Yeah, I think I got the right guy. It was Stella got her groove back. Yeah.
Tay Diggs.
Yeah, love him. He plays the coach. His son is on the team, but he goes and recruits another kid. That's as far as I got into like the middle of the second episode. Morgan and Kale tried to convince me to keep going, but I was just like, I'm losing it with the guy's already making morally questionable choices from my perspective, and that's like I'm losing that ethos of like feeling for him. Coach Taylor, that was like what made him and sort of all those characters is like, even though they were faced with those challenges, they always held on to like no man, you got to keep the football pure. Like everything else in your life could be falling apart, but you got to keep the football pure, clear eyes, full hearts, like that whole. And so that's the standard I was holding. It didn't hold, so I don't recommend it. I mean,
Rachel and I are
I'm a
garbage at.
What's up?
Yeah, Rachel and I are garbage at watching anything dramatic. We just can't. We just feel like there's enough drama in real life and everywhere in the world. I just need, when the TV's on, it needs to be like so action packed. I'm like just not even like so ridiculous, or it needs to be hilarious. Like
I'll tell you what, I watched Predator the other day. It showed up in my Amazon Prime feed. I hadn't watched that movie in probably 5-6 years. It held up. It was awesome. I mean, like it was that when they're doing
Ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah, when they're making the all the things with like, and you really think this Boy Scout shit's gonna work? And he's like, stop talking and start helping. And it's just like, this is the best. My only concern in watching it was the time distance. Like Arnold seemed to get to a lot of places in that forest really fast. And I'm not sure
he's super strong.
Accomplished that.
It just swings across. The things I do now is I listen to podcasts and I listen to audiobooks. And the audiobook that I'm re-listening to, and I've listened to all 4 of his books, and I'm redoing the whole series because they're better than TV, is Jack Carr's Terminal List. Former Navy guy, writes these books, and they're like thriller action books.
I'm in.
And you'll love them because they're so detailed about like the things, the weapon systems he's using, the terminology he uses, like it's all super legit. And they're like these conspiracy government things. And it's like, well, it's probably actually happening in real life. Like, have
you ever listened or read the Mitch Rapp series?
No, but I actually think he mentions him or something.
So Mitch Rapp is a fictional character. He's like a CIA guy. They tried to make a movie out of it. It had Michael Keaton as like the recruiter.
Multiplicity.
Which is a great movie.
No.
Copy. I'm a copy of a copy. I'm a copy of a copy.
She touched my Peppy Steve.
Love that movie.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's like the American or something. American Sniper.
Yeah.
American Sniper. I think.
Yeah, something like that. But I do remember that.
It wasn't
movie.
bad. I mean, it wasn't a bad adaptation of the series.
I didn't know that was from books though.
Yeah.
But you have to check it out. The author's name is Jack Carr. The character's name is James Reese. It's there's 4 books out right now, and the audiobook is phenomenal because the guy that narrates it does voices and stuff.
Oh,
and it's
man, I love
phenomenal.
It. Cool.
And he does it's great. It's phenomenal. I read this great book called, and I think I sent it to you, Jack. It's called Empire of the Summer Moon or something.
I've
Freaking great book about like the Native American, like about it's about Kahana, who was like the last chief of the Comanches, and it's like super detailed and brutal about the stuff that the Comanches were doing, but that like the whites were doing. And it's a gnarly. It actually kind of makes you think of that movie during but that book is nonfiction, and it's amazing. And then there's this other book that I just started. There's this other book.
Nonfiction. Thank you.
There's another book I just started. It's called The Greatest Beer Run Ever.
I'm reading fiction.
Sorry, we interrupted him.
That's okay. I'm just gonna keep talking, of course.
Well, no. What was your other?
The Greatest Beer Run Ever, and it's about, and they're gonna make a movie of this, I guess. But it's about, it's also nonfiction. This guy during Vietnam essentially runs beer from the States over to guys that are fighting in Vietnam.
That was my dad. My dad did that when we were in Iraq. Yeah.
Oh, how about that?
If it fits at ships boxes, you can fit a 12-pack of Yingling cans with one section of the Philadelphia Inquirer stuffed in between the cans so that they don't break up. Yeah.
But the difference is this guy physically goes to Vietnam during the war.
Oh, you mean the post office didn't have it if it ships at its boxes back in 1968?
So it's just a story about him like going into a war zone to meet up with his buddies and check in on them and stuff. But
I like, and so again, nonfiction, but kind of has
nonfiction
like stuff.
But it's really cool. And then they are making an Amazon Prime show out of the Terminal List book, the Jack Carr book.
All right, I gotta get.
Who's the guy? He's
Did they
phenomenal.
not already make it? Is it
no?
Going?
What's his name? Chris
Pratt.
Pine.
Is Chris Pratt the one that did? Who did
Star Wars?
The
Star
Marvel
Trek?
movies.
Chris
the
Pratt.
Marvel movies. Yeah.
Chris Evans. Chris Evans, Captain America. Chris Pratt was Star-Lord.
Yeah, Star-Lord.
Chris Hemsworth
Chris Pratt
Thor.
is going to play the main character in it, and it's going to be an Amazon Prime show, and probably going to be pretty good. But the books are so damn good.
Did you watch his Tomorrow War?
I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen it?
It fits your qualifications of nonstop action. It's got a little bit of drama, but not too much.
Yeah, right.
Just over the top, like no
Insanity.
Way. That was awesome.
Yeah,
like,
I need that in my life.
Ridiculous. Some of the way that they use explosives, you're just like, they'd all be pink goo right now, but whatever. That's cool.
Whatever. I would like to watch blow up movies with you and just watch your reaction. You need to get on. They do all these things now, like veteran reacts to movie or whatever. Like Jocko's done a couple of them where he's like reacting to sniper movies or something, or you have to do that. You need to do your own series of like EOD tech.
Because you know what, in the end, it does that. I mean, that'd be like doctors getting all upset about
right
delivering a baby in an elevator. Like,
I
don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. That's the medium through which to tell the story. That Pratt movie is not even really about going into the future or going in the past. It's about relationships with your kids, living in the now, being present, like letting go of ideas that you had because they're
that's
not
cool.
real. If it has to be done at the tail end of an explosion or some alien invasion of the earth, like, okay, cool. That's the catalyst to tell a better story. Yeah.
And then finally, the podcast I listen to all the time, besides this one, obviously, is Andy Stumpf. He's a former Navy guy.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Cleared hot. He did CrossFit stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
You don't like him, I can tell by your.
No, I don't. I do like him. I think in the stuff I've listened, he does and we all do it. He does sort of the tease of like, I know a little something. I'm not allowed to go into it too deep, but let me just tell you, and then goes off to make his point.
Yeah.
But doesn't on the illusion, ALLU, illusion of some sort of like, I know stuff, but I can't tell you how I know it.
Right.
So therefore, you just have to downright believe me.
Yeah.
He does that a little bit too much because of the world where he came from.
Right.
That it's like, hey man, at this day in the game, like I need sources. I need references.
No, that's very true.
Direct me to where you're actually getting that information. If it was an article, I need the article, because if we're going to have an actual conversation, and it's a virtual conversation because he's talking, I'm listening.
But
I want to be able to go research it myself and then be able to then come back and say, hey, I agree with your perspective on this, but I kind of disagree with some of your conclusions.
Yeah.
I don't have any of that ability because he doesn't provide me any of the background.
Right. I think he definitely has done that with his, like, where he doesn't have guests on, but most of his podcasts now are guests. And so he has guests on, and he has more of like a Joe Rogan style where like he just lets the guest talk. He may or may not agree with what the guest is saying. And, you know, most of the time he just kind of like, it's, you know, just having a conversation, kind of like we are. But
I will say, I do like his directness. And I think the ones I have seen where he has guests, he is a very good question asker.
Yeah.
He has clearly like a plan, but he also has the ability to listen and then change his questions and ask. So I think he does.
Yeah, he's really good at that. And I think he's good at calling himself out on his own bullshit, which I like super respect. Like, you know, he always, and I think this is like a reverse humble where he downplays the shit he did in the SEALs and stuff like that, constantly saying, oh, I didn't do anything, when that is really like I did a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Like that's his way of like saying I did and didn't do things. But anyways, that's I spend a lot of time throwing those on when I'm working. And
are you listening to Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes?
I just saw that.
Oh man,
is it out already?
Oh yeah. They're like 65, 70 episodes in.
I just randomly saw an ad for it. I thought it was like this new thing.
So what it is, they just got bought for multi-million dollars by one of the bigger companies, podcast companies, and so they're now like a full-on, which is kind of annoying because now they actually have ads and stuff. But what I did was I went back to their first episode was Dax Shepard, which is a great episode. The dynamic between the three of them, and they've been called out numerous times by some of the guests, which is absolutely hilarious. It's really just an excuse for the three of them to talk to each other and Raz, and the guest is just there as an excuse to like, but every now and then they do have some top ones. The episode with Will Ferrell, oh my God. Funny. I mean, like I'm walking through quiet waters, laughing out like,
I love it.
Like unable to breathe, laughing so hard that a woman actually like looked at me and was like, are you okay? Dude, I'm just listening to a podcast. Really fun. Really fun. Don't touch my dog. I just listened to the Amy Sedaris. Oh, so funny. Like similar sort of like go back and forth. And then the expert ones, they had a guy on, David Sinclair, who does like aging and stuff about anti-aging and age reversal. Phenomenal. And then there was another one they had an expert on. I can't remember. Anyway, it might have been the Sean Penn one, a recent one. But so I'm trying to go in reverse order so I can catch up, but then they'll get a guest on and be like, oh, I gotta listen to that one. And I, so I'm kind of all over the place. But
that's how I did with Dax Shepard's
with the
podcast.
Expert.
I was obsessed with that podcast for a long time, but I almost got overwhelmed because there's so many episodes and I just could not catch up, and I felt like I wanted to catch up.
So these guys, it's worth, and they're short. They started like they were usually 35 to 40 minutes. They've
that's nice.
gotten a little bit longer, but I think it's with the ads, so I just skip.
Yeah, right.
I
have to check that out.
You'll dig that one, and they live up to their name. Like they are idiots. They are idiots who are sneaky smart on stuff. Like Arnett, really smart on history. Like he knows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, even though
I wouldn't have pegged him to be like a history guy.
And Sean Hayes, I've thought at first like he'd be just a little annoying kind of, but he's not. He's kind of the anchor. He sort of keeps the episode moving, which is surprising. Like he'll sort of, he doesn't say a whole lot at times, and his questions, they make fun of him. His questions are usually like, what's your favorite color? And
right.
But they're not. Like he actually does a good job.
It has like some more depth to it.
And keeping them moving.
And what do they discuss? What their like friendship is? There's just three people I would never assume were like friends.
Not immediately, but you pick it up. Will Arnett and Jason Bateman knew each other a long time, apparently. And it's actually why they were both on Arrested Development. I think Bateman was
So
written.
you've never watched. Watch.
So I didn't. And they make fun of Sean Hayes at various times because he had never watched it. And they're like, two of your best friends who you do a podcast with were in a show together and you've never watched the show. And I'd be like, I've watched the show. And then they're like, no, tell us one episode. And they caught him because Arnett's character's name is spelled G-O-B. And Sean Hayes one point, yeah, you know, Will, your character Gob. And Bateman goes, oh my God, you've never watched the show, have you? Because his name is Job.
I've never seen it. I've heard a million great things about it.
Yeah, and so now I'm.
It was ahead of its time. It got.
Yeah, I'm like 4 seasons in, and then I'm watching it because, well, he would always reference it, and I'd have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But because of that, them going back and forth. But you learn bits and pieces over the course of the series of the episodes that they've actually all known each other a lot longer, and they truly are really close friends. Where like Will Arnett and Jason Bateman live like 10 minutes away from each other.
Oh, really?
Like golf all the time.
Yeah,
that's cool. Sean Hayes and Arnett are really close friends on things and stuff. It was going to be Arnett's podcast, and he told both of them at one point, like, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing a podcast." And so then Bateman calls Sean Hayes and says, "Hey, we should get in on this Arnett podcast thing. Let's see if he wants us to do it." And then Sean Hayes like sent him an email basically without a question mark of, "Hey, can we join your podcast?" Basically, they just invited themselves into the show. It became the thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say 2 things I'm grateful for. Number 1 is this was absolutely awesome. I'm very grateful for this idea, but now we have the excuse to reach back out, and I freaking miss you, bud.
I miss you guys.
This was like just an unexpected treat on a Wednesday. And my second thing, I'm gonna turn this camera over here. Is if you can see all that stuff.
Holy cow! Yeah, that's awesome.
We're doing a little drive. One of our members, I don't think you ever met Shannon Connors before you left. She's a gunny up at Fort Meade.
Nice.
Yeah, you guys would dig each other. But her and another shipmate are taking some time every now and then going down to Quantico to volunteer some time with the Afghan refugees that are being processed through Quantico. And they're like, they don't have anything. And so it was a bit of a goat rope trying to figure out like, well, what kind of donations can we take and whatever. And the 2 of them just said, fuck it, we're doing it on our own.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's like, hey, can we use the Fairwinds platform to just see if we can get stuff? So we put out the email and folks started bringing things. This showed up on our doorstep Sunday afternoon, Monday.
Awesome.
Yeah. And somebody got the email, forwarded them from a friend.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to forward it out to a bunch of people I know. And that web of just graciousness and, just absolute awesomeness of people manifested into all of this stuff, which will make it.
Yeah, I saw Eric's post on Instagram too. That's so rad. That's so cool.
Just a general gratitude.
Appreciate sharing, by the way,
for that level of response on it is, and this is like the physical manifestation of it. Absolutely.
That's so dope.
Yeah. So those are my 2.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
Same. When I got that phone call, I was like, hey, I have a bunch of stuff from Target on whatever day it was, Sunday or Monday. And I was like, yeah, if you can probably just, if you want to put it in the benches and I'll come down there later and show me the pictures. Like, we'll get this inside. Yeah. It was really, when I saw that, I was like, wow, that was awesome. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. People coming together. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Dope. Oh, is it my turn?
Oh yeah, it's your turn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Grateful for you guys, obviously. I love your text. I'm grateful to hear from you, Jack, and just, hey, you want to be on the podcast? Fucking yeah. Like, you want me to sit here and talk to you? Dude, let's talk. I'm so down. I miss you guys tons. Just grateful for the things Fairwinds taught me and the community. Miss everybody a lot. We talk about it. Rich and I talk about it all the time, how much we miss everybody. So just super grateful for you guys teaching me and keeping in touch.
It was yesterday your anniversary?
No.
Okay. When is your anniversary?
October 6th.
Okay, like I knew it was relatively close. You post those pictures and you posted the Avitz quote.
Oh yeah, that's just
And so I was thinking, it was like,
finally got away.
was that just like it fit with that moment, or was that a
Yeah.
was that
Nah, more for that moment. We have had some gnarly stuff going on in our life, so it was dope just to get down to the beach and be with the fam, just the fam. So yeah, very cool.
there's still room. We're seeing the Avits on the 16th if you want to come up, or watch the Orioles beat the Yankees and then Avits right after.
Are you going?
Yeah, we have a wedding.
And the
No
boys.
way.
We're
Seriously?
camping. That's so yeah, I need to get coverage for Friday morning. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're camping at Elk Neck that whole weekend.
That's awesome.
And so my buddy wants to go to the game and then the concert
Yeah,
afterwards.
Marita got me tickets to the game, and then we bought tickets for the show.
Well, they're
afterwards.
together.
Yeah.
If you buy tickets for the game,
You get to stay after.
You get to stay for the show.
Avits. Yeah. So that's like mine and
We'll
Meg's,
be-
like, that's our like anniversary birthday.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be dope. That's one of the best shows in the world. So
Looking forward to it. Those guys are awesome. I always think of them in camp. Whenever I hear those,
camp's the
immediately
camp's
think,
awesome.
yeah. All right, brother.
All right, guys.
Yeah, you never gave us a
Miss you
joke.
guys.
With Shelly here, I almost want her to tell the joke because I think I'm going to ruin it.
Yeah, Shelly, you want to come tell your joke?
So I'm come tell you the joke you said earlier.
Shell, come tell the joke.
Well, we're on camera.
It's a visual. Get over
Yeah,
here.
and we produce a visual medium. Oh,
Okay, this is Shelly's joke. A dog ate a string and then it pooped it out, and then the dog was like, "Hey, you pooped a string," and he's like, "I'm afraid not." That's the joke. So that's from Shelly.
Completely.
Shelly, just come tell the joke.
2 bad jokes, and it made it worse. It definitely did not make 2 negatives make a positive.
What you gonna do?
You gotta lean in, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta lean in. All right. This
boys.
was awesome. Good to see
Thanks
you,
a lot,
man.
guys. I appreciate it.
You want to
Good
send
to
us
see you
out?
guys.
We do that. We'll see you.
You say on the creek.
We'll try it again.
On the creek.
You say on the creek. So I'll say thanks for joining us. We will see you
On the creek.
Well done. All right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You want to try? We'll do that.
Let's do it again. We'll
All right.
see you
Off the creek.
also on the creek at the same time.
I'm now exhausted.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Thanks so much, man. That was awesome.
See you, bud.
I'll talk to you later, brother.
Later. All right. Bye.
Bye.